Thank you, Alan. Dad, I'm just going to tell you, I really can't see you, but I'm just going to tell you, your intro is not going to be nearly as impressive as the speakers because, quite frankly, you don't have as many titles. Like Lord of the Manor is obviously sitting down the table from you, and that's not you. So, you know, I'm going to do my best to stretch this out to 30 seconds. So, I'm so honored to be here tonight celebrating such an outstanding group of Mississippians, one in particular I've known for almost 35 years, before he dined with presidents and talked policy with prime ministers. I knew Phil Bryant when he wore cut-off shorts and deck shoes. I watched him graduate from Mississippi College, and I also watched him lose his first political race. But I kept watching, and with every success and every failure, I kept watching him work harder and harder. He always has believed he is a patriot, fighting for something much bigger than himself. Robert Frost once described a road less traveled, and I assure you that for most of my dad's time serving Mississippi, he has found himself on that very road. I've enjoyed watching my dad make all the difference in our state. Now, I'll admit to you that the journey has made my childhood interesting. Not many 4-year-olds were taught to quote Patrick Henry and were read The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere before bedtime. And not many teenagers watch with horror as their homecoming date suffers through an explanation of the Second Amendment. While it's been an interesting ride with being Phil Bryant's daughter, it's also been a rewarding one. I'm so proud to have watched him work alongside great Mississippians, many of who are honored here tonight, watching them work together to rebuild Mississippi, stronger, more unified, and more resilient than ever. I've watched my dad spread his patriotism and his passion for Mississippi beyond her borders. From London to Israel to Saudi Arabia and Japan, Phil Bryant continues to share his love for our Mississippi, his love for our people, and his belief that we live in one of God's greatest places on earth with unmatched potential. And the world has responded. Companies are investing and countries are inviting Mississippi to the table. Phil Bryant has opened the door for Mississippi, and for that, I am so proud to recognize and celebrate him tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce my father and the governor of Mississippi, Phil Bryant.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. That was an amazing introduction. Thank you. Thank you. In 1986, I had the wonderful opportunity to go into the White House and meeting Ronald Reagan. We sat there in the Roosevelt room. For the first half hour, it seemed as if the president would never come. He was obviously busy. The door flung open and a young assistant walked in and put a notebook atop the podium. We were forlorn and thought, perhaps he's too busy. We were there with the Junior Chamber of Commerce. We were a bunch of JCs, one from each state in the country. Mark Formby was there as vice president of the national JCs. How proud we were. Finally, the door opened. The president of the United States, Ronald Reagan, walked in about 10 feet from where I was sitting. We jumped to our feet in amazement and in awe, clapping and cheering for our president. When he made it to the podium, he said, "Well," y'all remember that, "well, I'm going to tell you like Liz Taylor told her 5th husband, don't worry, I won't keep you long." And I came home to a young family and said, I'm not making a difference. We had a wonderful career in the insurance industry, and I just didn't believe I was doing anything right. The long-suffering wife and 2 children realized that their father was about to leave a good-paying job and go into something called politics. And we did. The road less traveled by. We started our journey years ago. 1992, I had the opportunity of walking into the chamber of the House of Representatives, and there were so many legends that were there. Impressive names, Marshall, that we all knew. One of them was Robert Clark. I'd heard about Robert Clark. He had been there early. He was a pioneer. In 1967, the first African-American since Reconstruction to be elected to the House of Representatives. I thought, well, this is going to be interesting, this first meeting, because here I am, this young Republican from Rankin County. And there was Robert Clark. Immediately shook my hand, a broad smile, a welcome to the House chamber. My second vote in 1992 was elect Robert Clark as Speaker Pro Tem. He was the first African American to ever serve in that capacity. Only in Mississippi, I would give you, only in Mississippi would a young boy from Morehead, Mississippi have the opportunity to be elected to the House of Representatives and then have the great opportunity of meeting someone that helped shape his political future. Because my agenda after that was pull and strive and work together for the betterment of Mississippi. Y'all may have heard that earlier. I saw this man's commitment to his state and all of the people that lived in it. Not just his district, although he loved it so much, gentleman from Holmes County, but for all of the people, the greater good. We must rise above our own self-interest. Robert Clark taught us all. He could have been hardened by the things that had happened to him in the past, and we would have understood that. But he turned his heart towards compassion, towards Sherry, toward bringing us in. He didn't judge us with what area in the state we came from, what political party we were a part of, how differently we may have voted on one bill or the other. There were hundreds that came through. So he only wanted to vote for the ones that he was for. I learned that from the great Robert Clark, Mr. Speaker. So tonight, here we are. Well, all of those that have done so much in industry and in education, in public life, at our great universities, in the United States Senate and the House and Senate. We gather here tonight to recognize those 50 Mississippians that at this time in this place, Steve Azar, have done something very special. And Bruce allowed us to have one sweet moment when one of the finest concert pianists in the world plays Amazing Grace at the opening of Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. What moments we've seen, what cherished memories we have. We are not there along this road less traveled by, but we are moving forward with deliberation. We're moving forward as we pull and as we strive and as we work together, Mr. Speaker. I was born in a small town in the Delta in Morehead, Mississippi. Our parents, my dear brother Larry, my oldest brother, in case y'all were wondering, my older brother is here. My middle brother's working tonight on the way to buy another piece of heavy equipment. He's a small businessman. I'm proud he's there. Katie's here to represent my son Patrick and my son-in-law Stephen and my wonderful grandchildren. I have photographs later. So my family is here. But the one that is here that made all the difference and 45 years ago was a young girl from West Jackson who I met and immediately fell in love with. I used to tell her children, our children, they were only hers if they were acting bad. First date I ever had with her mom was the last date I ever had. And we have a date night still. But gentlemen, I can tell you this single lady has made such a difference in my life. And Mr. Speaker, I'm sure Miss Joanne would be at that same point and level. She came into my life and helped me find a direction. Even at the time that we were struggling to find our true north, our true destination, she never wavered. Each time I would come in and say, I think I'm running for a new office, I remember I came in and said, I'm thinking about running for governor. And she said, yeah, me and the girls at the hospital were laughing about that the other day. She's been our first lady and I think the greatest first lady in America. I want to thank Alan for having this and doing it in the right way. We all like to visit and we like to hear short speeches, Dr. McLemore. So I'm going to end it. No, he's a professor. I've been a professor. You have to teach 3 hours. You have to think of things to say. He had a great subject to talk about tonight. What an amazing evening. Deborah and I have enjoyed our responsibilities. Now, our journey will soon end. Just a few months from now, we will leave the governor's mansion and the responsibilities borne by the First Lady and the governor of the great state of Mississippi. We will do so with lasting memories, fondest of relationships, dearest of friends, in the belief that we, in our short time, did all that we could do to make Mississippi a better place to live. They're forgetting all those things that have gone before, keeping our eyes always on the prize, that we have run our race, and we have kept the faith. And the people that are here tonight have been there to cheer us on then and now. And God bless you for being a part of our journey. Thank you so much.